2016 was a great year for us. We really wanted to just focus on building. It was a fairly young group still last year. We wanted to just try to get better every day, and we were able to kind of shift our focus, I think, towards that as opposed to achieving things specifically. And the guys really embraced that, and we saw a lot of growth individually and collectively. And obviously, to come up with a double-digit win season and to make the conference final is a great year, and something that we'll certainly look fondly on. We were very fortunate to have picked up Phil Brino last year as a transfer. It really solidified the goalkeeping position. We went into last season thinking that we had a number of good options. However, we really felt like coming off the 2015 season, it was a position where we needed a better performance from whoever the starter was, and Phil came in and did a terrific job for us this past year. He's continued that through the spring and through this summer, playing for an NPSL team, and we're excited for Phil to have the opportunity to be our starter this year. And we know that we've got some guys that will be competing with him to try to earn time, but Phil's done a great job of really solidifying that position for us. Wow, we have so many good options in the back. We really felt like that was a strength of ours this past season in terms of the quality and the depth, and that won't change very much this year despite the departures of guys like Ryan Perry and Jordan Pettit. We return really all of the players that started for us the majority of the games last year, and we've also added a top quality center back in Sam Galan as a freshman. So really the guys that we would expect to be key contributors back there. Marcel Berry has been an all-conference performer as an outside back. Remy Frost has been a starter for his first 2 years here. Tanner Shane started every game as a freshman last year and made the all-rookie team in the league. And then we had a number of other guys that played and started games for us that can play, as outside backs or center backs in Risto Bustamante, Ricardo Acosta, Alfonso Speed, and Jeff Young. We have to replace Jeff Bombell in midfield. Jeff was certainly not our flashiest player, but was an every game starter for us for the last few years, and really just a solid, steady guy that we could always count on. But we're fortunate in that the other two spots in midfield are guys that we have counted on for at least 2, if not 3 years, in Riley Spain and Antonio Bustamante. Antonio is the guy that gets all the accolades. He's one of the most special and talented players we've had here for a number of years now. Very skillful, very intelligent, high soccer IQ. Was our leading goal scorer this past year, playing as an attacking midfielder. And we have really high expectations for him. And then Riley Spain was our team MVP last year, voted on by the players. And Riley plays in a position and does a role that doesn't always get accolades or recognition outside of our program, but obviously the players, his teammates, felt that he was our most important guy last year, and I expect that to be similar this year. We have John Fukene, who started a number of games for us in the central midfield his first 2 years. And then we have some guys that I think will be trying to turn a corner a little bit this year. Graham Guidry is a guy that can play in midfield for us. Some of the back players are guys that we will also look at to play deeper in midfield, whether that's Jeff Young, Remy Frost, Tanner Shane, or possibly newcomer Sam Galan. And then we've also added another true central midfield player in true freshman Darren Kakuslu. The strength of this team, I think, this year will be balance. And up front, we return a number of guys that have been really successful for us so far in their careers. Probably the immediate choices, if we play with 3 up front, will be William Eskay, Reeves Trott, and Ryder Bell. William has spent the majority of his time playing as more of a winger and has been very successful in his career here, been a starter every year, has contributed with multiple goals and assists in every season, and was an all-conference and an all-region performer last year. We expect similar things from him. He's really embraced the idea of continuing to get better, to give himself an opportunity to have a great senior season, and he's also really stepped up in terms of leadership. And so we hope that William will have a great year for us, and we have no doubts that he will. Reeves Trott, as you mentioned, had kind of a breakout season last year as a true freshman. We knew that he had the soccer IQ to be successful here right away. We weren't sure how the rest of his game would translate, but he came in and played up front for us and scored a number of big goals and earned accolades as a rookie last year in the CAA. And then Ryder Bell, who in his first 2 years has been a consistent starter for us and has been chasing the team lead in goals. I think he's got 16 goals now in his first 2 seasons, and again, another guy who works really hard at improving his game, and we saw that this spring, and we think that he'll provide significant numbers for us this year in terms of goals and assists, either from the center forward or from either wing. In addition to the 3 guys that I mentioned up front, we have a number of guys that have had significant experience that can really help us either as starters or certainly coming off the bench in key substitute roles. Guys like Graham Guidry, Christian Jones, and Julian Ngo, who all 3 of those guys played in significant games for us last year. Julian and Christian, I think, had a couple starts, and all 3 of those guys made great progress this spring. We also have a couple of younger guys that showed progress in the spring that we think will compete in that area as well. Cole Smith is certainly a guy that comes to mind. And then we have a transfer from South Carolina, Lee Hogg, who's a Virginia Beach or a Norfolk native. And we know Lee pretty well from when he was a youth player and a high school player, and we think he'll be a great addition to that group as well. It's always been our philosophy to try to schedule as strong a schedule as possible within our resources and within our geography, and I think once again we've done that. We've been able to add a number of ACC opponents. We've picked up teams that have traditionally been good rivalries for us in Loyola, George Washington, and so we're certainly excited for that. We have the return trip to Michigan, which is not a traditional game for us, but we were fortunate to have that series last year and then this year. So we'll open up in Ann Arbor, which will be a kind of a cool thing, I think, for a lot of our guys. And we're just really excited for the opportunity to challenge ourselves, and we think that the schedule will certainly do that. And if we win enough of the right games, I think that it puts us in a place where we want to be, where we will potentially be talking about postseason at the end of the year. Yeah, the conference is always really tough to predict. I think that this year there is the potential for there to be another shift in terms of who the teams that are favored will be, and that's mainly predicated on some of the top players in the league graduating. I think it'll be an exciting year where it's really difficult to predict who the top teams in the CAA are going to be, but we always feel like there are going to be teams that are really good teams on a national scale in the Colonial Athletic Association. That idea of having tremendous balance, tremendous commitment from the guys toward growth and improvement, and just focusing on the good of the group and enjoying the process. And hopefully, if we can continue to be committed to that, we'll be certainly on the right track.